I'm meteorologist Monica Woods looking at our Northern California forecast. A couple of weather elements we're going to be tracking, not only the heat, but the ozone and the smoke concerns. This is what it looked like on Thursday near the Sutter Buttes, and you can see just that thin layer of smoke moving in. The fire's actually burning in the northern part of the state, but with that north wind, it's going to continue to pull that through the Central Valley. And we'll talk about why the valley in particular is the place that we see that unhealthy air. For our Friday, we're looking at unhealthy for sensitive groups for that air quality index. Thin layer of smoke plus ozone building leads us into a spare the air for the Sacramento region. So when we talk about ozone, it's the combination of sunlight plus these volatile organic compounds. When that combines, it produces the ozone. So these are emissions from vehicle exhaust, industrial facilities, gasoline vapors, and chemical solvents. When we have those spare the air days, it's best to just limit any sort of use of that. All right, let's talk about why the valley is in particular vulnerable to the poor air quality. Emissions build every day throughout the valley. We have a lot of agricultural land and a lot of people drive in California. Normally we have this dominant west wind. It really helps to clear out the air. But when that wind starts to back off and lighter winds, we have more pollution building throughout the valley. As I kind of skim this over through more of a geography, you can see the topography here. We've got mountains on either side, so poor air fills the valley like a bowl, and it's very difficult to clear that out until we start to see a bigger pattern shift. But we're just not going to see that over the next couple of days. So less fog along the coast, but heat and poor air quality will be blanketing the valley. For the foothills, we're going to stay near 100, dry for the Sierra. Heat alerts up in the northern part of the state. That includes our heat advisory through Sunday. Lows only falling to about 70 to 80 degrees. Keep in mind the peak heat in the valley is typically during the late afternoon between 4 and 5 o'clock. So much of the morning is a time to spend time outdoors. But as the afternoon starts to bake, so do the temperatures going up into the low 100s. So for our Friday forecast, we're still going to be digging into the 100s. A great place to beat the heat is along the coast. We've got Santa Cruz water temperature at 55 degrees. Great wave heights here. Might be able to do a little bit of surfing there. Lake Tahoe forecast, a little bit cooler as well. 80s to near 90 with a nice light southwest wind. And then for Napa, a little bit cooler again than the valley. Highs will be in the low to mid 80s if you're headed over to wine country. Southwest winds about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Friday temperatures though quite toasty all throughout the region, near 90 up top for the Sierra, 90s and 100s throughout much of the Mother Lode as well as the Sierra foothills. As we travel our way southward here, Yosemite 89, we get into the 100s as we head into the San Joaquin Valley, including Merced at 104, 105 for Fresno, Shaver Lake at 85 degrees. This really starts to display how the valley will bake, whereas the higher elevations start to cool, and the coast with access to that cold Pacific water will stay in the 60s and 70s from the Monterey Bay Peninsula all the way through the Central Coast to Morro Bay. Head inland, Paso Robles at 92, 106 for Coalinga, Mendota at 107. Northward here we go into the Bay Area, highs in the 60s and 70s. Inland areas again in the 90s to 100, and we'll see that in the northern part of the state. Redding, we're up to 110 for the afternoon as we're wrapping up what has been a warming work week for us, as well as our Central Valley forecast deep into the 100s here, even through the capital region. Not record territory, believe it or not. Moving on to our extended forecast, and we start to cool gradually into next week, back into the lower 90s.